Wednesday and Friday at 7:20 p.m. and a rebroadcast at 11 a.m. The Lall Show only on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM.
TGIF, welcome to the Friday edition of the Lall Show on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM, where we tell it as it is. Happy to hand things over to the man of the moment, sir. It is Friday, and of course, a little birdie told me that you're feeling very generous tonight and that you are going to sponsor myself and Kevin out tonight to have a drink.
You got it.
So, over to you, and we look forward for the green ones after the show.
Whew. Joshua, thank you. Joshua, you must leave me sometime, you know. I need to take a break sometime, all right, Josh?
No problem.
I want to start by saying to you guys, I want to buy so many people a drink tonight. You know, Bernard, you going to join me too?
For sure?
Yeah, man. Joshua initiated it, so what can we do? I should start tonight with a joyful, on a joyful note.
Of course.
Yeah. Today, the common entrance that they now call the National Grade 6 results was released. And I want to extend my heartfelt congratulations and best wishes to all those children that wrote the exam. All of them. I slipped Wednesday evening when I only congratulate and wish the top 4 that wrote C-Sec and Cape. So tonight I want to correct that and wish all the children that wrote all 3D exams, best wishes. And tonight I want to say a special congratulations to the 3 top students who, Joshua, you know all 3 them tie?
Yes.
They tie with 518 marks. Newell Bancroft from the Annandale Primary School on the east coast of Demerara, Angelica Sobrian from the Cumberland Primary School in Berbice, and Jonathan Gomes from the Gossell Educational Institute in Georgetown. Wow, those were the three top, like the 3 top for the C-Sec. And 1 boy from the Cape exam. Man, Joshua, I feel so delighted, feel so happy that I have to give these 3 that tie for the first place a token of appreciation too. It's a couple of dollars I want to give. Not in the millions though, Josh? Not in the millions. I ain't him Ram Rupiat. Okay? I name Lall, Glenn Lall. Hi, here again, Josh. You know, my daughter got 519 marks when she wrote common entrance exam 20-something years ago. And 520 would have put her in the top 10. So at least, I was smart pick near Josh.
Yep.
She did short of 1 mark to get in the top 10 in the common entrance back in those days. But she made it in the top 10 in the CXC. Matter of fact, she came 4th. If you don't, Joshua, if you don't show off with your children, nobody will, you know.
That's true.
And that's a message. That's a message to all the parents and grandparents of all these top students. Show them off, uncle and auntie. Show them off like I do. You hear that, Josh?
Yes.
Always show off yourself. Show off your children, especially when they do well, because nobody else will. I have another story to tell you that will make you want to crack up. And at the same time, it's a serious story, Bernard. On Monday last, a brand new footbridge in Congo. Hear that, Josh? A brand new footbridge in Congo collapsed as the officials were cutting the ribbon. You hear that? You have that picture and that video?
Yeah.
Can you put it up online so people can see it? I laughed my belly full and say in Guyana, the bridge we built this far long before they even cut the ribbon. Guess what I did, Josh? I sent out that message with a video clip to almost 4,000 people in my contact and laughed. Show me anything, Joshua, that bill in this country that stand up to the money that was spent on it. You know of anything?
No.
That bridge fall down because they took the taxpayers' money and give them a 6 for 9. Not a 9 for 6, a 6 for 9 bridge. Everything I see in Africa, I seeing it, yes, here tenfold. And not only on bridges, Uncle and Auntie, on every building or renovations they do. Everything falls apart before you know it. Listen to this one, Josh. The same shocking and disgusting state of affairs the IDB finding in New Amsterdam Hospital, they find it in Linden Hospital too. The investigation the IDB carried out 5 weeks ago was at the New Amsterdam Hospital, Linden and Georgetown Hospitals. I already told you guys that the 3 most basic pieces of equipment, a CT scan, an MRI machine, and a heart machine called a cath lab, to help us check we heart and scan we body, the New Amsterdam Hospital did not have. Even the hospitals in Africa, I told you people, have those machines and equipment. Now, Bernard, you got to hear what the same IDB report had to say about the Linden Hospital. The Linden Hospital.
More of the same, I guess.
Man, the Linden Hospital does take care of all the residents in Region 8, 9, and plus 10. A total of about 75,000 of our brothers and sisters. Yes. Here the ridiculous part, Joshua. The doctors and the nurses complain that they don't have enough beds in the maternity ward, the recovery room, and the general wards for the patients. You hear that? Yes. Beds, buddy.
Sickening.
They don't have the basic safety procedures and systems in place to ensure patients receive safe and full services. Uncle, is what really these politicians running there, man? A hospital, an almshouse, or a funeral parlor? The foreign people gotta come and tell us that the needles, Joshua, the needles that are juking your hands, your fingers, and your backside with, the surgical blades they use to cut you doing operation, and the surgical equipment they use during an operation on patients got to be stored in barrels, buddy. Barrels. And then truck down to Georgetown Hospital for them to dispose of it. Bernard, you didn't hear me there, man.
Truck from Linden to Georgetown.
The disposal, the needles and all this equipment are being stored in barrels and have to be trucked down. You hear me, buddy? Trucked down to the Georgetown Hospital for them to get rid of it. Can you believe that is happening in this country called Guyana?
In the 24th century.
With all those billions that the ministry collects year after year through the budgets. Eh? Man, I can't believe these things. I can't believe it. And all this money this country has, huh? You can believe this thing, bro?
They give
With all the billions, man. All the billions from bauxite coming out of Linden. That hospital doesn't have nothing in place to dispose of the medical waste, brother. No, man. No, man. Something is wrong in this land, and I really can't fix it, auntie. I can't fix it. I can only educate you people so that you can wake the hell up from that slumber you guys in and start to speak up. Open your mouth. I don't know if the waste, when it meets Georgetown Hospital, if them to send it up to New Amsterdam Hospital to be dumped in the Kanji River. Because right there, all the waste from the New Amsterdam Hospital does be dumped. And that same Kanji River, we brothers and sisters in Berbice using to bathe, wash and clean. It's so sad and unbelievable that billions upon billions of dollars are being doled out to spend in all the ministries, especially the Ministry of Health. And this is the kind of service they're giving to our own brothers and sisters across this country. When I read this story in the Kaieteur news last week, I cannot, until now, find words to describe how I feel, man. No. Let me share with you guys, uncle and auntie, another shocking revelation from the IDB report of the Linden Hospital. The laundry, yes, the bed sheets, the pillowcase, the gongs, the towels and so on from the hospital have to be sent to the Georgetown Hospital to dry out and sanitize, then sent back to Linden. You didn't hear what I said there, man?
Say that again.
I'm saying the bed sheets,
Yes.
the gongs, the pillowcase, the towels from the Linden Hospital have to be sent to Georgetown Hospital too for dry out and sanitize, then send back to Linden because the dryer of the washing machine at Linden has not been working for quite some time now.
Wow.
Can you guys believe this thing, brother?
That is more than madness, bro.
Huh? Sometimes you're at a loss for breath, much less words to describe this insanity that's going on in this land.
Why do people...
And you have a medical doctor who has been the Minister of Health all his life under the PPP government and is back as the same minister again, Dr. Frank Anthony. Oh man, oh. It speaks volumes of who they are as leaders. Man, the bed sheets, pillowcase, blinds and gongs. Man, and I don't know what else. Gotta come from Linden, buddy, for dry and sanitize and truck back to Linden. And they can't fix a dryer? Man, Bernard, if you can't fix a dryer or buy a new
Buy a new
dryer,
one, exactly. You can fix it by a new
eh?
one.
What else y'all could fix and buy in this country, man? People, what's going on with y'all in this land? Huh? The same things the New Amsterdam Hospital asking for. More space to accommodate patients, more rooms, more beds, up-to-date operating theaters, equipment and machines. It's the same things needed at Linden Hospital too. This information is coming out from the same IDB investigation that was done a few weeks ago, Uncle. Yes. Which Leslie Ramsamy tell the media was done back in 2020. He wanted us to believe that all this thing was done by the hospitals in the coalition time. I wonder who and when he gonna blame this Linden information on. Huh? Let's see who you gonna blame the Linden Hospital on. This information from the Linden Hospital on. Because in the report, the IDB also mentioned the names of the officials at the Linden Hospital who gave them the information, just like the officials at the New Amsterdam Hospital. The IDB tells us clearly they met and spoke with Rudolph Small, Chief Executive Officer, Miss Sharon Joseph, Occupational Health and Safety Officer, Enoch Hooper, Maintenance Superintendent, and Mrs. Ashley Barakat, the Environmental and Social Specialist of the Linden Hospitals, all from there. Yes. They also met with the Linden branch of the Guyana Nurses Association, who are in charge of the day care facility at the complex. All that was done, Uncle and Auntie, just a few weeks ago. Not in 2020, Ramsamy. Not in 2020. Like Ramsamy, ex-President Donald Ramotar. Man, God is great, eh? I go home last night, sit down having a little dinner, and I'm going through my WhatsApp, and this Globespan video pop up, and I just click on it while I was eating, and I scroll the video. Lo and behold, guess who I listening to?
Yes, you want something?
No, man, the ex-president Donald Ramotar. Man, I said, oh gosh, look how God is great, eh? He knows that I'll be speaking today on the follow-up on the Linden Hospital with the IDB report, and landed me Ramotar's speech that he gave just 2 weeks ago. Yes. When he was questioned about the state of the New Amsterdam Hospital on Globespan, this is what he had to say, Uncle. He blamed everything on the PNC. You want to hear him yourself? Kevin, I'm going to play him. Just play the ex-president. Let her hear these guys.
Good night again, Mr. President. I just want to touch on something that was published in yesterday's papers. The IDB issued a scathing report on the condition of the New Amsterdam Hospital. Have you read the report? And if so, what do you think?
I read the newspaper, some of the newspaper thing about it, and I'm very surprised because I haven't been to New Amsterdam at the hospital for a while. I haven't stopped in there to see things myself. But I'm very surprised if the report is, and I believe it is public. I don't have any reason to doubt what they said. I'm very surprised that that those are the conditions that exist at the New Amsterdam Hospital, and I think it needs to be rectified immediately.
Okay, well, that's pretty good. But those conditions that existed for almost 10 years, and you know Dr. Amaya, he has been talking about it from day one. and no one seems to be concerned. But I hope they get their concern now.
I never heard Ramaya speaking about the health sector or the hospital in New Amsterdam. That never came to my attention.
Oh, all the time on his TV program. All the
I
time.
know. Yeah,
Okay.
well, anyhow, the fact is, if that report is correct, things needs to be done right now to rectify that situation.
I'm hoping so too, because I have checked the hospitals at Borbies, and I can tell you this: some of them not even fit for human consumption. You walk in these hospitals, there's nothing, there's no garbage. Get everything being thrown on the floor, all garbage, and like no one seems to be concerned. But it is the RDC supposed to be in charge of those hospitals, and something has falling apart. Well, let me turn to you now. Since it
But
was elect-
it will be unfair for me to comment on what you just said there because I know that when I was president, I had Dr. Vishwa Mahadi was in charge in the Borbis area, and I know he was doing a pretty good job, and many of the hospitals were in good condition there at the time, apart from that, he used to be doing a lot of outreach. I must admit, I have not gone to any hospital in Borbis since I left government in 2015. So I haven't been there for the last.
I can tell you this off the bat. For the past 10 years, if you go to any one of the hospitals of the quarantine and the other areas as well, you have to wait between 7 to 10 hours before seeing a doctor, because there's always one doctor on staff. And if emergency comes in, you got to leave and go there. There are never 2 or 3 doctors on
will
staff.
dispute that in the 3.5 years that I was in government.
Okay.
I will dispute that. Maybe there would have been some exceptions. I'm not disagreeing with that. I had a very good administrator. I remember the guy who I put in New Amsterdam as the administrator was somebody I moved from the Georgetown. He died a few years ago. I moved him from Georgetown to go there, and I thought he was doing a very good job. And so generally, I don't know what happened. I think what we're looking at now is what happened in the last 5 years at the PNC, when the PNC was in government, that still needs to be rectified. That is going on right now, because it's not true. We had equipped a lot of these hospitals with a lot of the facilities that people didn't have before. They had it. Skeldon was upgraded. Um, Port Morant was upgraded. All of those hospitals were upgraded. But I think everything ran down under the PNC time. And our boys, we have been tackling with COVID. We have been tackling other issues that we got into the government. So I think now they will have time to focus on some of these things.
Mr. Ramatar, I'm not blaming parties. But as you said, you put someone there, but they will tell you everything is okay. It is best to ask the people on the ground and let them tell you what they have to face when they go to you. But I'm not here to debate that, to be honest with
you. Oh boy. Uncle and Auntie, you gotta love today's technology. You heard the ex-president there from his own mouth. Yes. My gosh. In one breath he said, if that is happening, it needs to be fixed, and fixed now. And then he went on later to tell the moderator, Dr. Rose, that what is happening there happened under the PNC, not under his presidency or the PPP. You guys really stayed on your finger for people like them, this one? Huh? Are you really believe this country can develop into a little Trinidad? Not Dubai. With these bourgeois clowns I had and have parading themselves as politicians? Huh? Come on. Come on. I will repeat it. I am not seeing Africa here, Uncle and Auntie. I am seeing a Guyana that will become 1,000,000 times worse off than Africa with these comedians we have for politicians in this land. Can you imagine the foreign bank, the IDB, were lending us this money to upgrade the health sector, got to send investigators to Guyana so that we, the Guyanese people, can know the true state of our hospitals, man? Eh? What it has, what is missing, and what is going on before they decide whether they can lend us the money or not. What a Guyana. What a Guyana we live in. President Ramotar, ex-President Ramotar, should be ashamed that he got to read Kaieteur news to learn the state of the health sector in which he sit as president a while back. Uncle, you find words to describe those people for me? Eh? Can you find words to describe these people for me? And just tell them namaste for Glenn Lall? I mean it in a good spirit. Huh? This is what these people preside over? And got the nerve to go on an online radio station like Globespan and tell the people that this thing didn't happen under them? Huh? The walls getting mildew. They don't have a scanning machine. They don't have an MRI machine. They don't have a cath lab machine. The three most important machine that is needed, that even all the hospitals in the world got, man. And you don't have it. I wonder if he's going to blame the PNC for taking it out from the hospitals. Because when you listen to them, right, Bernard, these people are just as good enough to say, well, they had all the modern equipment in the hospitals, and the PNC going to thief it out and give it away or sell it, throw it away or broke it up. Let me repeat, Uncle. They said 48 million. 48 million out of the 160 million US loan they are going to take on our heads to upgrade and renovate the three hospitals, which can give us three brand new 10-story hospitals. Trust me. Trust Glenn Lall on that. That money will vanish. They will use it to put in a couple equipment, small equipment. In all 3D hospitals, they're going to put some sheds. They're going to expand the theater room and maybe put in a scanning machine. And guess what? That money will disappear. It will disappear. Man, and of course you will have a few bed sheets and 1 and 2 little extensions with 1, 2 rooms and so on inside. And guess what, Bernard? The whole 160 million what they collect might vanish. Oh, buddy, you gotta look out what's happening in this land. You really gotta look out what's happening in this land. What these people is doing to y'all. I wonder who Ramotar is going to blame after reading the report on the Georgetown Hospital that we are going to publish on Sunday in the Kaieteur News. You hear me? This is the Georgetown Hospital, you know.
Right here, this
New Amsterdam Hospital, Linden Hospital, and I want to know who is going to blame, because we're going to publish what the people find going on at the Georgetown Hospital. You know, there's a saying, always better to keep your mouth shut and let people think you're a donkey than to open your mouth and remove all doubts. Uncle and Auntie, here is a preview, a trailer, a shots I'm giving you all of the IDB report on the Georgetown Hospital that will be published in Sunday in Kaieteur News in full details. Hear what the people say about the Georgetown Hospital now. The main hospital in the country where everybody run to in the country when the outer town hospitals can't handle the sickness. You understand? They run go there. Hear what the people say. The hospital urgently needs a number of missing sections. Hear that? Missing sections. Missing equipment. Missing machines. And a ton of improvements needed at the Georgetown Hospital. Yeah, man. Especially additional beds in all the different sections of the facility. The people say the maternity ward in the old 19th century building needs to be pulled down, throw away, and get rid of, and build over a brand new building. The doctors interviewed during the investigation told the IDB investigator they need a 3-story building that can accommodate a proper, decent accident and emergency department. You hear that? The people tell them what they want now.
What they need, not what they want.
Apart from that 3-story building, what the people begging for, they said they want another one. Another one. that has to be built to accommodate patients coming in, so you can deal with them in a more orderly fashion, buddy. This is what is going on in Georgetown Hospital. The people said this new building will have everything in a more organized way. That's what they're begging for, buddy. They say each floor will be designated for special services. So, is the 2 buildings they're talking about there, uncle? Yes. The 2 buildings they're talking about there, that they want at the Georgetown Hospital. Lall is telling you guys, put 1 10-story building in all 3 hospitals, and you have more space, more than what Mount Sinai Hospital in New York have. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for this tea. Thank you. Yes, uncle. You'll have more space if you put a 10-story building in each one of the hospital. But the doctors then begging them to put 2 3-story buildings so they could have enough space. Like the New Amsterdam and Linden hospitals, uncle, the doctors at the Georgetown Hospital also asking for ICU and operating theaters to be expanded and modernized. You hear that? The Georgetown Hospital people want them expanded and modernize it.
Of course. Who wouldn't?
Man, sometimes I want to ask myself, Frank Anthony living in this country?
You don't go to public hospital, they can guarantee
Huh?
you as a patient.
All these things needed in these hospitals. Where is Frank Anthony, man? He live in this country? Is he still a minister, uncle? Man, are you got to be joking? Are you really got to be joking in this land? Ramotar was a president. Valda Lawrence and George Norton was ministers under the coalition in the health ministries. They were ministers for what, man? Is what these people really running or doing in this land, brothers and sisters? The doctors begged the IDB people at the Georgetown Hospital to ensure that all the support services, like the laundry, Kevin, oh boy, like the laundry, housekeeping, catering services, and even a mortuary to be housed in one building, Bernard, just to reduce the risk of contamination and increase efficiency all of these people asking for. The hospital has no warehouse. The Jagd hospital has no warehouse too. Everything is stored in containers. You know them steel containers? No proper record keeping system in place, uncle, at the Jagd hospital. So the doctors are asking for a warehouse to be constructed with a fully computerized inventory system. Oh my! Is there really these people running in this land? Huh? They also want offices, uncle. They want parking lots, conference facilities. They want the labs at the Jagd hospital to be expanded and outfitted with up-to-date machines and equipment. Wait, man. Is what kind of health ministry we have in this land, Bernard? Is this what Ramotar said he presided over? Is this what Jagd and the PPP built for 23 years? Then the coalition government going for 5 years? Huh? Man, could you play back that tape for me, man? Let the people hear the ex-president Ramotar that they voted for, what he had to say.
Good night again, Mr. President. I just want to touch on something that was published in yesterday's papers. The IDB issued a scathing report on the condition of the University Hospital. Have you read the report? And if so, what do you think?
I read the newspaper, some of the newspaper thing about it, and I'm very surprised because I haven't been to New Amsterdam at the hospital for a while. I haven't stopped in there to see things myself. But I'm very surprised if the report is, and I believe it is public. I don't have any reason to doubt what they said. I'm very surprised that that those are the conditions that exist in New Amsterdam Hospital, and I think it needs to be rectified immediately.
Okay, well, that's pretty good. But those conditions that existed for almost 10 years, and you know Dr. Amaya, he has been talking about it from day one. And no one seems to be concerned. But I hope they get their concern now.
I never heard Ramaya speaking about the health sector or the hospital in Amsterdam. That never came to my attention.
Oh, all the time on his TV program.
I know. Yeah, okay. Well, anyhow, the fact is, if that report is correct, things needs to be done right now to rectify that situation.
I'm hoping so too, because I have checked the hospitals at Borvis, and I can tell you this. Some of them not even fit for human consumption. You walk in these hospitals, there's nothing. There's no garbage. Get everything being thrown on the floor, all garbage. And like no one seems to be concerned. But it is the RDC supposed to be in charge of those hospitals, and something has falling apart. Well, let me turn to you now.
It will be unfair for me to comment on what you just said there because I know that when I was president, I had Dr. Vishwa Mahadi was in charge in the Borvis area, and I know he was doing a pretty good job, and many of the hospitals were in good condition there at the time, and apart from that, he used to be doing a lot of outreach. I must admit I have not gone to any hospital in Borvis since I left government in 2015. So I haven't been there for the last.
I can tell you this off the bat. For the past 10 years, if you go to any one of the hospitals up to quarantine and the other areas as well, you have to wait between 7 to 10 hours before seeing a doctor, because there's always one doctor on staff. And if emergency comes in, you got to leave and go there. There are never 2 or 3 doctors on staff.
I dispute that in the 3.5 years that I was in government.
Okay.
I will dispute that. Maybe there would have been some exceptions. I'm not disagreeing with that. I had a very good administrator. I remember the guy who I put in New Amsterdam as the administrator was somebody I moved from the Georgetown. He died a few years ago. I moved him from Georgetown to go there, and I thought he was doing a very good job. And so generally, I don't know what happened. I think what we're looking at now is what happened in the last 5 years at the PNC when the PNC was in.
Blame the PNC.
Blame the PNC, bro. Oh, God. Oh, Father, may they give me faith with these people. Blame the PNC, man. But when you listen to his voice, right, and you listen to how they're fumbling for words when questions posed to them, man, I think a child will know the game, you know, and the evilness that protrudes them out. You know, uncle and auntie, let me close off them 3 slaughterhouses. You know, the 3 slaughterhouses. The politicians calling hospitals or medical facilities with this. The Georgetown Hospital have a heart machine, but it's private and public arrangement. You don't hear what I said there, man. A heart machine, public and private arrangement, where the private people making money through the Ministry of Health at the Georgetown Hospital. What a lovely country this is. A man using your house, putting a stove in your kitchen, using your electricity, cooking food, and you paying for it. You can't put in a stove and cook your own food for your own self. That's what is happening in this land. As for the MRI machine, we have none in the Ministry of Health. You hear me, brother? You hear me, auntie? MRI machine, we have none in the Ministry of Health. In any of the public hospitals, we have none. So if you need a body scan, yes, to check and see what's happening to you, you better find the money to pay and go to a private hospital to know how your body working, or dead in your hammock or your bed like animals at home. Kevin, you want to hear the sad and sickening part of all this nonsense going on? A heart machine money, uncle, is less than a nursery school money. What am I bill in this country? Less than that. And the MRI machine plus a CT scan machine, both of them together is less than 1 nursery school money. That is how they care. That is how they love y'all. Yes. You know, sometimes I think I throw too much blame on the ministers. Yes, I think so. When the real culprits behind the lack of these basic tools required in the hospitals begin and ends. Yes, it begins and it stops at the top of the government. With that same man we hear just now, Ramotar, Granger, Jagd, and now President Ali. That's where it stops. Because these are things they ought to know. These are the things they keep talking about, health and health and health. Everything is health. They're looking out for your health. And you don't have the basic tool or skill set, according to Ashley Singh. Yes, where every home should have, a hospital doesn't have. Man, they don't even have a proper X-ray machine working in these hospitals. Tomorrow, we are carrying a story in the Kaieteur News in which the government is going to build two-story buildings in Ogle. One is to house the Hospitality and Tourism Training Institute, and the other one to have classrooms and to facilitate students. You want to hear the money they're talking about here, Bernard? 14 million US dollar, 2.8 billion Guyana dollar. And that money is a loan, you know. This money I'm talking about here now is a loan to build this two building. Yes. That two building will be a little bigger than the Rheinveld, little, maybe double the size of that. Yes. That kind of money, uncle, will give you two complete buildings with everything they ask for in them. Buy a modernized heart machine, a MRI machine to scan, plus a CT scan machine. Yes, and put it in the Georgetown Hospital, brand new, and still have change left over. Yes, this is how they're spending your money. And this is how they have y'all living in pain, suffering. Yes, because you can't afford to go to the private hospitals to seek medical help because they don't have the basic tools to scan your body or to see what happened. Operation Theater then I got. You want to hear more, Bernard?
Yes.
Y'all really want to hear more, uncle? Frank Anthony Ministry already spent $26 billion in the health sector at the end of June, from January to June. That is $130 million American dollars out of the budget, uncle. Not $1,000, $1 million in Guyana, $130 million US out the budget. Ask them to give you a breakdown, and you will see your dead grandparents will drop dead again with what they did with that money, if they really give you a true breakdown. Every one of them health centers across this country could have already had a heart machine, a CT scan and an MRI machine. Yes, it will already don't have all that with that kind of money. And them still have the 48 billion. And they still have, listen to this one, Bernard, out of that 26 billion, that 130 million US, they don't spend half year. They got 48 billion more to spend in the health sector for the rest of the year. 48 billion, buddy. You know what $48 billion could do? $48 billion can oh no. The malaria office where I went there doesn't have one single computer for tell Glenn Lall when last or the date he took his malaria smear. Yeah. I read when I read a part of the story that we are carrying about this 48 billion more to be spent, and I shudder to think what will become of the health ministry, Bernard, with that money. When you hear the money these people spend, the Home Affairs Ministry, we carried a story today in the newspaper. Ben spent 22 billion US already to secure Guyana in the Ministry of Home Affairs, in the police, the prison, and the fire service. 22 billion done spent. And where you get out there? Find out wherever you get. Can we come off? Yes, I think I should come off this hospital thing now. I covered the three hospitals with the IDB report, and I think I've given you guys enough food for thought and to think about. I read a very disturbing text message in which a Guyanese family living in Canada came back home on vacation and visited one of the resorts on the Linden Highway area. You know, one of the bathing spot? Yes. Unaware, the man unaware that a reservation was needed to enter the resort. Yes, he didn't know that. The man said, when he turned up at the gate, he explained to the gatekeeper, who had an attitude that they didn't know of this new change, right? And asked if it was okay for them to use the resort since they came all the way from Georgetown and was already there. The gentleman said at first the gatekeeper ignored them, but eventually said they could stay. He said he noticed a group of white people and a few locals in a barricaded area at the resort. The man said, "Uncle, if you know the resort, there is a wide area with water and then a smaller section that was separated. The keeper told us to use the smaller section with a benab that was at the farthest point away from the water." The man said he didn't think anything of this. He said they settled in the benab, and when they sit down and unpack their stuff, a female worker with an attitude told them not to use the wide pool because the Exxon people didn't like the locals close to them or swimming near to them because they're concerned.
Wonderful.
Oh boy, you hear that? The people got to tell them don't go swim there. The Exxon people don't want to swim next to them. The man said that made he and his entire family feel so disgusted with themselves, right? That they had to ask themselves, are we, our skin color, not good enough to mix with these white people? Eh? And that is the real gist of the story, the man said. This is what Glenn Lall, yes, have been preaching about in the newspapers. And since I began this program, going on to 2 years now, I have said the fairy tale city that your president boasting about at Ogle, that will be the next Dubai. Guyanese might have to get an American or European visa just to enter that. And it's only for work. You'll be getting a visa to go there.
Definitely.
Right? The insulted and hurting Guyanese man went on to raise several concerns about how he felt being treated in that fashion in his own country, uncle. He said, if our skin color was white, would we have been treated differently by the gatekeepers? He went on further to express his pain and shame. But I think you guys already get the gist. You get the gist, right, Bernard? Yes. Now let me ask this. Let me ask this, Josh. Or let me say this, man. I fully understand, yes, if Exxon, Dexon, or Hess Corporation, or whoever reserved the entire resort for the day, all the owners have to say, sir, we are fully booked and cannot accommodate you and your party. Not true, Mahabanat?
Definitely.
Huh? But the mere fact you open the gate and send the man's family to a far-off Benab, huh? Which the man have no problem with, until he were told not to use the wide pool because the Exxon people didn't like the locals close to them or swimming near to them because they get concerned. You know, Bernard, is this pre-Martin Luther King America in Guyana already? Where pools, toilets, and buses had whites only and colored only? Huh? I'm asking, uncle. Is it? The man said something else that really touched me. He said, as a Guyanese, where my navel string is buried, who comes first on our soil? Is it me or another nationality? Then he said, it seems our hard-earned money has no value as the white people's money.
What white people money? You money.
I have seen a little of what's going on in Africa. I'm going back. And I have seen the disparity between the filthy rich and the dirt poor. I have seen their high towers and I have seen the shacks. I have seen the prosperous and the impoverished. And I don't think I can handle or ever accept that in Guyana, Uncle and Auntie. I think no Guyanese, no sane Guyanese should accept a pre-Martin Luther King in Guyana again, where we are not allowed to bathe, when we are not allowed to go here and go there in our own land. Like I said, Bernard, I don't mind if you rent the place for a whole day, but don't allow me and put me and throw me aside. No. I remember the two white men that were setting up the cement factory in South Rhineville. The way they spoke to the MMC officials first, and when the minister turned up, they told him to get out the place. Oh, a minister with the power of the nation behind him was being manhandled and ridiculed. Was told to get out from in front of my face. Yes, that happened a year ago. I was so happy to read, after we exposed that story in the Kaieteur News, that they were given 7 days to pack their bags and get out of Guyana, never to return. I think it was Bara Jagd or Irfanali give the instructions. That is the behavior and attitude of some of our white people around this world. Not all of them. Not all of them. Because I know many of them who are good, honest and kind-hearted. Uncle, when I first read that story, it dawned on me that this is a blessing in disguise, because it has opened my eyes as to what I have long feared, and now I am sharing it with you so that your eyes can open too. Man, at the end of the day, this country, always remember, belongs to us. And we cannot allow outsiders to come here and disrespect us in this fashion. I feel your pain, brother. And I'm grateful that you shared that story. As degrading as it is to you and your family with the world. Yes. Yes, I'm very happy that you share it with us. Thanks. Let's dive into our riches, especially our oil, that should become part of our everyday prayers and breathing now, Bernard. I didn't want to say anything, but we're done with that, and let's dive down into the aisle that we should breathe, that we should talk about every day. I don't know what games our Vice President Bara Jagd and one of the oil companies are playing with Guyana and this oil. I don't know what game they're playing. I just want to share this story with y'all so y'all can help me to find the game they're playing, because I can't figure it out. One of the oil company boss that works with Exxon out there, John Hess, a few weeks ago said during an American TV interview how delighted and happy he was when the government of Guyana tell them to pump as fast as they can. The man even boasted how Lisa 3 and 4 done approve, and by year end the fifth one will be approved, and early 2023 the sixth one will be approved by Bara Jagd. This man was talking so fast about so much money in the making for the oil companies that you would have seen the joy in his face. You know why, Uncle? They are getting everything free and they want to empty the tank as fast as possible before the Guyanese people get sense or the Guyanese leaders change their minds and demand something more. Yes, that's why. Like I said, I don't know what is going on, but something new is playing out. That same John Hess spoke to his shareholders 2 days ago, Uncle. 2 days ago, that would have been Wednesday. And was a different story to what he told the American journalists two or 3 months ago. He told them that they now got to follow fully the environmental rules of Guyana while they increase production. You hear that?
Really?
Yes. They now have to follow the environmental rules of Guyana while they increase the production.
I wonder why.
It's what really going on here. That was baffling us in the newsroom all day yesterday. We don't know what's going on.
That means they weren't doing that before.
No, something is happening. We don't know. No, they're not doing that. Be sure they're not adhering to the environmental rules of Guyana. But now Jagd, he said, this is John Hess is saying that Jagd wants the oil companies to follow the environmental rules and regulations. Uncle, we don't know if Jagd is giving them a hint that they have to slow down for us to wring their hands using the environmental rules that we have on the books. Or what's going on? You know that? I don't know. The environmental rules is a handcuff to the oil companies. That's what I know for sure. They have to abide by the rules and follow all restrictions as it relates to flaring, Uncle. Yes. Yes. They have to adhere to the dumping of that produced water in the Atlantic Ocean that come up from 20,000 feet below the ocean floor. Another key demand is full liability coverage. Man, I love it, man. All these are demands they have to meet, you know.
Of course.
If he is correct. If he's correct when he said Jagd, they don't want these things. They have to adhere to the FDP reviews and credible EIAs.
Credible?
Yes, credible. Which is part of the EPA too. That the oil companies would find it, you know, Bernard, the oil companies would find it very difficult to comply with those things. So I don't know if Jagd is finally using that to squeeze their coconuts to get a better deal for Guyana. I don't know. Like I said, we are baffled. The whole newspaper editorial department was baffled yesterday. Or Jagd wants us to feel that he's working for us. I don't know which one. It's either he wants a better deal or he wants us to believe that he's doing something good for Guyana. Year end with the 5th project will tell us whether we are right or wrong about Jagd. Or I got a surprise telephone call yesterday. I'm not going to tell you who called me, but they tell me to stay quiet, that they believe the Vice President will be here on my program Monday. They tell me not to say a word, so I'm not saying a word about that. You did not hear that from me. Okay? The gentleman himself called me, our Vice President, yesterday afternoon. And I asked him if you come in tomorrow, which is today. And he said, no, Glenn, something pop up and he tried to make it on Monday. I asked him if I should start advertising it. He said, no, Saturday he's going to tell me whether he's going to come on Monday. But I mustn't say nothing, so I'm not saying anything. Not a word. Y'all didn't hear that from Glenn Lall.
Oh my goodness.
Hess, yes. Hess says, government. Government now wants full compliance by the oil companies with our environmental rules. Is Jagd quietly moving towards a better deal, Uncle? I'm just asking that question. I'm just asking. I hopefully, with that telephone call, and if the person come Monday night, we're gonna be able to clarify it. Yeah, so let's move to another oil story before we call it a day, Bernard. We're running late. Or you want me to left it back? Reuters, a news agency, reported that Europe is now very thirsty for oil and that Guyana is ramping up its oil production that will help them quench their thirst. They reported that a big chunk of the Guyana oil bringing up presently on a daily basis is heading straight to Europe. Uncle, Europe is facing a shortage of petroleum because they went against Russia with the war against Ukraine. And in turn, Russia retaliated by stopping oil and gas supply to Europe. It's like I used to give you electricity from my house and you go against me. I cut you off. So you got to find somebody else to give you electricity. Well, Guyana fit in very nicely there because we sweet crude works better with their refineries in Europe than any other oil countries. I smiled when I saw the story. We have it in the Kaieteur news today. I don't have a problem with that. And I don't have a problem with the story they reported to the world, Uncle. It is nice to report to the world, to the whole world, that Guyana oil means so much to Europe today. Filling the gap, fulfilling the urgent needs of the Europeans, and at the same time putting Guyana on the world map. What bothers me, Uncle, what bothers me through that story, Auntie, is that the world is reading about the positive and good of Guyana's oil to Europe. But what was missed out from that story is that we are a poor country and being exploited on every barrel of oil that is going to Europe. Yes, that is what was missed out in the story. And that is what I want to bring to you to understand. They're happy to announce to the world that Guyana is helping out this situation in Europe. Yes, our crude is going to help them in the winter to give them heat and gas. But nobody reporting on how exploited we are as a nation by the oil companies. Nobody sees that. Nobody reports on that. And nobody cares. That is sad, Bernard. The Europeans are important. Guyanese are nobodies. If you are content being a nobody, Uncle, I am not. I will never be content of being a nobody. I will forever, with the last breath in my body, speak my mind, speak for what is right, and fight for what belongs to me and my family. I'll fight for you too. But I'm looking out for y'all support. I really want y'all help. I want y'all open your mouth and start speaking, buddy. Start speaking. Good night. God bless each and every one of you. Stay safe. Have a wonderful weekend. And God spare life. I'll see you guys Monday with that gentleman sitting next to me. Don't tell him I told you people anything. His name is Vice President Bharat Jagd. Don't say anything. Now I'll take your few phone calls.
We won't say anything.
Don't say anything.
226-745-324.
Because the gentleman tell me don't advertise it, don't say nothing.
Gotcha.
Good.
226-745-324, 622-2222, or 624-6456. Those cellular numbers are for WhatsApp calls this evening. And of course, you can also comment and we will read it live. Bernard, you want to go ahead before we take any calls?
Yeah, good night all. Glenn,
Good night.
you know why the Europeans are not selling anything with the people of Guyana, the deal we get in? We are just poor black and brown people, man.
Mm-hmm.
We don't mean a thing. We don't count in this world. You want to know that? You heard recently the Queen of England died, right? You know how much money they robbed in India? England, with the Queen as the head, robbed India over $45 trillion.
I heard that.
Right? Do you know how they got the Kaieteur diamond, the most famous Kaieteur diamond? They stole it from the people and they said that it was a gift from the king, one of the Maharajas to them. The 10-year-old child, they hold him in prison and his mother to sign the paper. And they say it's a gift. It's worth 400 million United States dollar, one diamond.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most expensive diamond in the world. But that is just a way how they show how these Europeans go around and exploit people, third world countries. Right? They steal a $400 million diamond and tell you it's a gift you give to them. But the public hospitals, you would think, you ever see any of our politicians go in the public hospital, Glenn? From anyone, from the opposition, the PNC, the PP, the AFC, you ever see anyone in the hospital go to take treatment there, medical treatment there? If they had to go and take medical treatment there, you could bet your last dollar that would be the best hospital in the country. It's the hospital that's getting the most revenue, is getting money in the hundreds of millions of US dollars, right? Mm-hmm. It's getting all the money, all the resources, but what happens to the resources when it gets there? Mm-hmm. You know, you remind me every time when you talk about the IFMAS program they bought from Canada. That records all the money comes in.
Yeah,
but it never records the money going out.
Going out.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So
because
if
they don't want you to see.
Of course, because it would never show that money going out by MR machine, the CT scan. It would show that money off.
No,
right?
You see, Bernard, when you look around this country, you really have some filthy rich politicians,
Oh, you better believe it.
Filthy, filthy, filthy rich politicians. Let me take this call. Good evening. You're live on the show.
Good evening. Namaste to you.
Namaste.
Yes, I call in from Region 2.
Yes, sir.
You know we're talking about health, right?
Yeah?
Yes, I hear you talking about health, right? Calling from Region 2.
Let's get going. Come on, let's
yes,
get going.
Saudi Hospital have a brand new ultrasound machine. And you still have to go on the public road right out of the hospital to get that CT scan.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, and you have to go out on the public road to do a CT scan also too. And they're telling you about prosperity in this country.
It's prosperity, yes, but for who?
Oh. I think...
And the next thing to right?
Go ahead.
Yeah, and the next thing to our vice president, right? He's talking about the fastest growing economy in the world, right? And he
You're breaking up. Go ahead.
He's a disgrace. He's a disgrace to this nation, man. That's all I have to say. There's so many things I have to talk. I can't really talk, man.
I could feel it in you. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, brother. You take care.
Wow. I don't think we should go down that road.
Yeah, don't call names, man.
You don't want to go down the road to insult anybody. Let's deal with the facts. Let's deal with what's happening. I mean, Jagd cannot be left out of the situation Guyana in today. Good evening. You're live.
Yeah, I'd like to make a contribution in terms of the health sector.
Yes?
Do you recall when Jagd was president, he had to charter flights, cost some $48 million just for diarrhea?
Well, I don't know if it was diarrhea. It's not diarrhea. He was the
No,
man.
according to the news, they claim it was diarrhea.
All right, the man felt sick and they
No, at that time, none of our hospitals do not have the capacity to deal with diarrhea.
no. Any other contribution you want to make?
No, sir. I enjoy your program. I think you are now getting to the point, and we should move from ministry to ministry to examine them as the way you do it, which is very good.
Yes, I plan to. I will be dealing with not only Ministry of Health. I'll be dealing with all the ministries one by one, and I'll show you people the kind of money that is going in these people's pocket, right? Or their ministries. I should say their ministries, and ask them to see what this money is being spent on, and it will shock your fingers the next time they come around for vote. Have a good night. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
226-745-324, 622-2222, or 624-6456.
Yes, no, the gentleman was correct. He said when Jagd was president, he took ill and they fly him, they medevac him to the U.S. I don't know if it was diarrhea. It couldn't be diarrhea.
It doesn't matter what it was.
We have a call
Yeah.
here.
But if you
Take the call.
Caller, good evening and welcome.
Glenn Show?
Yes, you are live on the air. Go right ahead.
Yes. Referring to the people that went to the resort, it goes back to a party that we end up like another party that in this country. That's my contribution.
Thank you.
All right.
Bernard.
If it's spending hundreds of millions of United States dollars on your healthcare system, isn't the first thing to do is spend some of the money to fix your main hospital that serves the majority of the people in your country? You spending hundreds of millions of US dollars.
Caller, good evening and welcome.
Hello.
Bernard.
Hello.
Good evening. Go ahead with your contribution.
Hi. Good evening.
Good evening. Go ahead.
I just want to highlight this problem with school children at the Enterprise Primary School.
Go ahead.
The children there are suffering, most of them. I am a retired teacher, and I took my granddaughter there every day to school. The children there, the headmistress, they have the children running all around. They have people selling there. Most of the children in my granddaughter's class, they don't have nothing in their lunch kit. I spoke to the headmistress. All of them are just like hanging around these stand, and they're like begging the stand owner whatever for like some chana and pulori for putting the poor lunch kit. They have nothing at all.
Wow.
You were saying the right thing. And another thing, the school, in front of the school, well, a big pothole. The first day of school, rain fell. Oh my God. And the cars just slum into this ditch and soak all of our skin up. I was so mad. I took a picture and I sent it to the Ministry of Education. I said, look at this road. What you people are talking about, economic development and all of that.
One second.
Where this money is going.
One second. Hold on the line.
Pardon me?
This government went and took 190 million US and said them upgrade the Mabura to Linden Road. Where Donkey,
Yeah.
where Donkey,
With donkey and
horse
horse and
running.
snake.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Auntie,
That's what I'm saying.
Auntie.
They're going to do roads out of the area when the area that people live in, the road, oh my God, if you see, I fell into that hole. I'm 64 years holding my granddaughter's hand. And so these cars are passing and splashing up all these water. They don't care. All these roads in Enterprise. Big holes, Mr. Lall, if you come in here, all from the line, top from Numper, coming down, big, and they're only doing streets that belong to this, this government. I know for a fact, there are 2 streets that is being done, 2 streets that are being done, and those are the streets that all the cars pass. And there are the PPP supporters that live through the street. I can vouch for that. I could identify. Yeah. And this is real nonsense. The play field, the community center, what they said they're putting up. I live opposite the field that they said they. And if you see cows grazing there, oh my goodness, I'm so fed up. Another thing with the water, yeah. They're sending a big bill. A 64-year-old retired teacher, $81,000. $81,000. You tell me I live in a flat flat house. What kind of water I use for a bill of $81,000? I send this bill to Mr. Sheikh Batch somewhere in the office. He said, go and find out there. Human Services, I had to take the bill there and show them. Yes, and they said they're not responsible for that. Poor people, little children live in this house. They come and they haul out, pull out the pipe. Pull out the pipe, Mr. Lall. And the only thing, I started to cry. I said, look, y'all talking about underwater, when they bring the water, oh my God, it's like poop coming out of the water. Yellow thing. All my bathrooms stain up. And when I go in there and find out and I talk to them, I said, y'all should, before y'all pull people pipe out and then send contract, 20,000 you have to go and give them, for them to, the contract people to come and put in back the pipe. I said, y'all are disgusting and shameless. I nearly dropped down in that office. Oh my God.
Thank you very much.
And I, look, thank you for listening. I'm
welcome.
fed up and sick with this government, and I will never ever stain my hand for them again. They're going to come in this community to campaign. And I'm waiting for them. I'm waiting for them to come. Thank you, Mr. Lall, because I can tell you what you say about those children don't have nothing in their lunch kit. I know for a fact. I went into that school with my granddaughter and they're begging me as a retired teacher to give them money. And there's much I could do for those children. About 15 of the children surround me that day. And up to now, they're calling me grandma, because my granddaughter is there. Okay, thanks for listening, though. And I want this government to listen to me. On Monday, I'm going to that Human Services Ministry. And she told me I have to get an appointment. Monday, I'm going up there to tell her about what is going on at the Enterprise School. And she will have to come. I said, when y'all are campaigning for this government, y'all running and come here and holler this you're going to do and that you're going to do and all of that. And come now, you're not doing nothing. I spoke to the ministry people there yesterday. I said, that is what y'all doing to people in this community. And y'all will never get no support ever again if y'all don't change y'all habits with all these madness. Y'all say economic growth and growth and growth. Nothing is going on in this place. Nothing whatsoever. If you come all these streets and they're building road here, there, and everywhere in the bush corner. For what reason?
The thief.
My God.
The thief.
I'm getting a heart attack here.
Thank you.
Thank
Tell
you.
you the honest truth. I don't know what to do.
Take
All
it
right.
easy.
Thank you
Take
very
it
much.
easy. Don't let your
Thank
blood
you for
pressure go up.
listening.
Take it easy.
You're welcome. All right. Thank you very much.
You
of course.
know, when you hear the plight these people gotta go through. Right?
Glenn, that's happening. That happening in most parts of the country. The
Yeah.
majority of Ghanaians are poor people, Glenn. I don't have to tell you that. You go poor, I go poor. We all go poor. The
And the
majority of people is poor people in this country.
The story behind the story is that the vice president, the prime minister, we president, we ex-president, the opposition leader, and all these people know exactly what is going on.
Glenn, that is the main reason I am here, Glenn. I go poor. I see what's happening to the poor in my country. And I cannot tolerate, I will not keep my mouth shut when those rich white men, the ExxonMobil and Hess come here carrying away this wealth that belongs to my people. I will not stand by and keep my mouth shut, Glenn.
Auntie, you guys gotta speak up. You gotta speak up just how you called there. I really appreciate that call. You gotta start form a little group in the villages and discuss these issues. Call on the individual leaders in the community that is part of the government and the PPP party or the PNC party, and let them know what's happening. That's the only way you guys can bring about a change.
The people have to demand a rightful share of their patrimony, of their wealth.
Caller, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, sirs.
Good evening.
I would like to endorse what Mr. Bernard said earlier, his little contribution about the healthcare system. What he said there is quite true, because when you look at it, which government would be bragging and boasting about spending billions of dollars in the healthcare system, and when at the end any one of them is ill, you find them going out of Guyana, right? That is the litmus test to show that the healthcare system is just a waste system, right? Because why they don't commit themselves to go in there? They have no trust. They have no confidence in the system themselves.
Because they know exactly what they're doing with it.
And so, yes, so I am very much endorse what Mr. Bernard said here. Now, another thing about these roads that they are building is that it's shoddy work they've been doing. You know, on the quarantine here, they have been doing a lot of work in all these years. And if you come around, I understand there's a shortage of stone right now. If one was to come around in the streets in Barbados and they take like a front end loader and you go into these streets here, you could scoop up a lot of stones, because the stones is what left from the shoddy work that was done in couple of years ago. It's their stones that is left. You know, many times I would hear people, the ladies complaining about their shoes. They can't walk too much because the brick eating out their shoes, right? So we have to rise above the standard. We have to hold these people accountable as to who they are giving out these contracts to. One person told me that the reason why the work is being done like that is to secure the job contract for future years to come. So every year you have to be making the same road, or maybe 2 years, right? We can't be having that kind of thing. This thing is getting too out of hand. What is your thoughts on that?
It has gone out of hand all the years, and every year that goes by.
For 20-something years, the same thing.
Is a selected group of people who has to split money and shift money here and shift money there, that is getting these projects, my friend. This is how 3/4 of the entire budget does disappear. Why you think they're building the road from Mabura to Linden? Because nobody knows nobody sees,
And nobody gonna
nobody understand, nobody going to check anything there, right? That money
know,
should have built
I know.
highway from Parika to Breeding Hoop, or from Mahaika to Golden Grove, or to LA. What? Look, look at the road the Antique talked about just now. In front the school. That money could, 190 million. You see, when we talk about 190 million, the Guyanese populace do not understand the volume of work you can get out of that 190 million US. That
That's
190 million can fix the entire city roadways, patch up everywhere. You wouldn't even have a hole to drive on. And I'm talking about the entire Jarchung, I'm talking about the entire, from Agricola, way from Cummings Lodge, the entire Jarchung, and still do other roads with that kind of money. But guess what? No, they're not going to do that. They want to huff everything out. When they say they're going to build, look, they're building 32 bridge to international standard in the interior. And you have roads, you have bridges right in your city, in every city right across this country that is falling apart. And you're not fixing that. So,
yeah, it's true.
But they only use these fancy terms to tell you that they're building these bridge with international standards to make you feel, well, the money is being spent wisely and you're getting value for money. No, they're robbing you, my friend. They're robbing you. I would like any one of them to come sit down with me here and show me and talk to me. Any one of them. Any one of them. In the PPP, the PNC, or the AFC. Let them come here. That's what they do.
I heard
that's how they become rich, my friend.
Yeah, I heard the other day when the vice president was being interviewed by Critic. He said he heard someone say, and I think he was referring to you, when he said they could build a hospital for so much $1 million. Because I think only you were the person that was trying to explain what amount of money could build what hospital. So he think that's a crazy response, So I mean,
he doesn't think it's a crazy response. He knows exactly what's going on. Jagd knows exactly what goes on in this country. Ask anyone. I'm telling you. And I'm telling him to ask any person that put up a 10 or a 6, 7-story building in this country. You can and hear the price. I put up one there on Regent Street, 6-story. 6-story. I plan when it finished to put a 4x8 steel sheet on top of the building to show the world what we would have spent there to build it.
Okay.
You understand? So when I said the 48 million US can build 3 10-story hospital in each one of Linden, New Amsterdam, and Jarchung, man, I am willing to give them Kaieteur News and everything I own free if I can do that. You don't have to give me any money, and I'll give them back the change from it to put in their pocket.
I know.
If they don't want to put it back into the treasury.
I understand.
So there's no.
Well,
he just want to make laugh story out of the thievery that is going on in this land.
Quite true. That's that's his defense to everything. He will have a defense for everything.
Could you believe? Well, could you believe a nursery school, one little more big than 2-3 small 2-bedroom house that the Guyanese people have built, costing $300 and $400 million, man? Wait, man, you people sick or what? What's going on in this land? Some nursery school building in this country, brother. That if you put 3 2-bedroom house, it's bigger than the nursery school. And 2-bedroom house is about $8-10 million for one now. So you're talking about $25-30 million for 3-bedroom house. And they want to tell me about the nursery school what $300 and $400 million. Could you believe Abraham's Abraham School, secondary school on the Escobar Coast, running $587 million, man? Huh?
Yes, I understand.
Come on, man. Come on.
Well,
Come on.
that is like the famous case with the perimeter NIS building with the enhanced seating accommodation.
Enhanced seating capacity. Capacity.
Capacity.
You gotta put your tongue between your teeth and use the word capacity. Ashley Singh said that.
Yes, only you could say that right. Only you could say that like that. I tried.
And
to
when you go
emulate
check
it,
your couple wood bench, cover with leatherette and maybe
Yes,
on 2-inch sponge.
I know. Well, I remember I think just a couple of days ago or today or yesterday I saw that same very minister was very proud, and there was something on the Facebook where he's selling Guyana that making big investment in gold, and he is very proud of that. And I wanted to know that which minister, which Guyanese is going to sell out Guyana by the ounces, by the thousands and millions of ounces, and be proud to say it like that to these foreign leeches that comes into this country, right? So these are the things that Guyanese people have to be aware of, and they have to wake up to this kind of thievery that is going on. Anyway, Mr. Lall, I would like to thank you, and you keep up the good work. And I am waiting for next week Monday. Anyway, y'all have a good night.
Don't tell nobody nothing.
I know. I know.
Can I give you the opportunity to close the program?
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, let me see if I can do it.
You can do it.
Chinese, this is all. I hope everybody would have learned something tonight, and I look forward for us to be on here Monday night, because I think it's going to get very, very interesting Monday night. And everybody should tell a friend to tune in. With that, I say good night.
No, please tell him to give us the green ones for the drink.
Yes.
Namaste, guys, and thank you all for listening.
Namaste. Yeah.
Namaste. I hope, like I said, God be with us. We'll be back here Monday.
Okay. See you guys on Monday. Bye-bye.